Hello there, Ray here. We have a brand new snapshot today. This is 20W21A, and with it comes a lot of weird changes, including changes made to world generation as well as Redstone, and a bunch of bug fixes. And if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure to go ahead and do it, as I have tons of videos going into in-depth about all the changes that are coming out with 1.16 and crazy farms that you can build using these changes. And after watching the video, make sure to hop on over to my Twitch stream, where we open up a brand new snapshot world. You guys can all hop on and join me as we build a bunch of new farms using these changes. The world is open to the viewers, so make sure you check out that link down below. It should be a lot of fun. Now let's get into all the new changes with the latest 1.16 Minecraft version. Also, they changed the new logo when loading up the screen. So it says Mojang Studios because they did do a name change, as well as some other minor changes to Mojang. This is all done recently around Minecraft's 11-year anniversary. It also means my 11-year anniversary is coming up pretty soon of playing the game, as I've been playing since almost the very beginning. The first new change that they bring to 21A is the ability to toggle the shape of the redstone dust. When right-clicking a single redstone, it toggles between a cross and a dot. So if I right-click this, it turns into a dot, then it goes back to a cross. Even if I use my empty hand, doesn't matter what you have in your hand, it will convert over. Now let's go into survival and we can do the same thing. So yeah, you can do this in survival. People were complaining that map makers would not be able to get the dot and use it as kind of like a blood drip on the ground. But map makers always had this ability by using the debug stick. It's just people that were in survival couldn't change it back to a dot, but now you can. But this is not just a visual change. A dot of redstone will not power its surrounding blocks. So if we go ahead and convert that over, get lever and pistons. Normally, if you put like pistons around this and you would power this dot, it would power all of them. You can see it does not power them. But if I change it, it does power them. So that is actually really cool that they not only gave something for the map makers, but they also gave something for redstoners. This is actually a pretty useful thing, as now you can send power downwards without having to worry about powering other things. So I can put some power source up here and I can power this, and it's only going to be powering this block. It's not going to be powering anything beside it. So any gates that are like right here or even on this side are not getting powered. And I'm still able to send the power down here and then maybe pull it out and send it somewhere else. This is actually really useful for compacting because you don't have to worry about these blocks around the edges. The more blocks it doesn't interfere with, the more control you have, the more things you can do with it. Now if I go ahead and update this redstone, you can see that just by right clicking it, I can change it to the cross. It is going to power the stuff to the side. Then I'll click it again, then it's going to stop it. This does make a change in when wanting to place blocks on top. You can't just click a block on top anymore. You have to shift click it now to get a block above it. And if it is a dot and you add anything that connects to it, it'll automatically connect to it. And if you remove it, it's going to default back into a cross. And you also have to be careful not to accidentally right click it, similar to like a repeater. When you're like working around stuff, don't accidentally right click it, it'll change the behavior of it. I'm really looking forward to using this in redstone builds, since it allows us to do a lot more. One of the new features they offer is bringing back more customizable worlds. If we go over here where we have the different world types, we keep going through it, we'll eventually get to some new ones. We've got a world type called single biome. We also got a world type called caves, as well as a world type called floating islands. This is all experimental for these new custom worlds, and they're looking for feedback, and they said that these changes could be altered at any time during the snapshots. So single biome, you can choose from any of these biomes, and the entire world will be just this one biome. Great for any type of custom survival challenge. For caves, it has all the biomes, but it's going to be the cave variation. Let's just go ahead and choose swamp, and we'll create a new world. So this is the cave variation. It is just kind of like the nether biome applied to the overworld, and we chose a swamp biome. So if we look, it does say that it's swamp. The grass looks like the right texture, but you can see underneath it still kind of has the nether kind of main block, which is netherrack underneath. And the floor is lava because it's just like the nether pretty much applied to the overworld. Since it is a swamp, you can see we got the bone generation, just like any swamp. Now with any world that you made, you can export the world generation settings. And that will send them to your computer where you can then use them back on a new world. So I just exported these, and let's go ahead and make a new world. We'll just choose Dark Forest, and let's go ahead and import. We went ahead and we got the files from the previous world. They're just inside of the world folder. They applied everything. We got the same seed. Let's go check custom. We can't change a custom thing. I'm wondering if it's probably going to use it's probably going to use the same custom terrain we chose. Let's go ahead and just create a new world. So yeah, it looks like they did it exactly the same, but we're back here in a swamp. This is great if you have a whole bunch of different settings and you want to easily apply them to a new world, and you can even switch the seed out or switch some other things out while keeping everything else the same. Now there's also floating islands, so we can go ahead and choose what type of floating island we want to have. This is essentially taking the generation from the end dimension. So notice how there's 3 different kind of custom worlds. One is overworld, one is nether, and one is end dimension. Let's go ahead and create this world. Let's go ahead and look around. So this should all be kind of on big islands, just like the end dimension. You're going to have same kind of generation as overworld. You can see we still got the base as the end stone. We've got overworld mine shafts as well as any other structure. Everything's cut out just to be the end dimension. So this is probably the main end island. It's kind of separate from everything else. And I think if you go really far out this way, there we go. Here's the outer end islands. So they're going to be very similar. You probably won't have those little teeny separate ones. They're kind of all by themselves because they actually come in with population, not generation. But you get the main ones that are quite big. Looks really cool. It would make for a really cool map of some kind of like particular challenge. Now so far I don't think you could change this kind of base material underneath. So my suggestion would be to at least be able to change out more of the layers. It looks like we can't actually take like normal ground generation and add it to this world. It looks like it's kind of in the early stages of testing. There's not too much you can do with it. But here I actually found a water runes. Something to keep in mind is that they actually reset all your settings. So whatever your settings were, they all got reset in the snapshot. So if you want to customize the worlds, currently you have to actually go into the JSON file. And here it has everything from like the bonus chest, the dimensions, the biome, all the presets, what seed it uses. If you want to tweak it all, this is where you have to go. Hopefully they eventually add all these settings back into the game like they used to in the past. You used to be able to change like how much ore pockets you want to generate and a bunch of other things. Another feedback I would give when recreating a world, they should allow you to at least change the custom world type as well as tweak anything you want within it. Because sometimes you want the same seed but you want to change this. Now if you go into a different dimension with these biomes added, another biomes can be exactly the same. There's no change to it. Hopefully they added so you can customize another dimension as well as the end dimension. They also made some changes to the piglins. They no longer walk around when they are mining gold, so they won't take off with their gold until after they're done admiring it. Oh wow. Got some nice boots. They also changed it so that if you hurt a piglin while he's admiring gold, the gold will just vanish and you won't get anything from the guy. So you don't want to be like doing damage to these guys while you're trying to barter with them. They increase the chances of ores to generate inside of the basalt deltas to balance against the reduced amount of netherrack in this biome. Since there is very few netherrack, it's very unlikely to find ores in it, so they kind of increase the ore amount in here. So in these small amounts where there is actually some netherrack, there should be more ores. You can see there's quite a few right here. It might actually be worth coming to this biome to do some clearing. You won't be able to kind of see any exposed, but if you're doing like blasting or something inside, you might be able to find more ores this way. They also made a change to fishing. Now earlier they changed it so that you can no longer get treasure enchantment unless you're in what's considered an open water source. Now they made it so that even if you are in a small one, you can get something that used to be considered a treasure loot. And this was lily pads. A lot of people complain that lily pads are hard to get in large amounts, especially if they're trying to do like some decorating. Now you don't have to worry about getting those only in open water. You can also get them in small water sources, and you can do your AFK fishing. And I'll link a video down below showing the ways you can AFK fish. This means you can easily get tons of lily pads now. And I have an OP fishing rod, so I get loot really fast. Oddly enough, the name's getting so large you can't even see the enchantment. But these little 64s here seem to be showing up on top of other words. This is just a bug in the snapshot. You can also see some text down here is also showing up on top of these words. And they also said they temporarily removed structure settings from flat level preset strings. There is a workaround, which is to use the import export setting function. They added the ability to control the height of the spreads players command. So they added max height, which specifies the maximum height for the resulting position. That way you don't end up too high. You can like force people to go kind of into caves. They also changed the locate command, so all the structures have lowercase names. They also fixed quite a few bugs in this snapshot, including subtitles on some things were showing incorrectly. They fixed a bug to do with client-side things that affect entities that are 3 meters or more away, including like name tagging mobs. If you do it kind of far away, it would seem that the name tag was on for the client, but actually it was off for the server, and therefore it wouldn't save. And if you like click on your name tags, it would give it back. And if you relog, the mob would no longer be named. This was a major problem in the past. Now this also affected other things like using flint and steel on a creeper, milking a cow, shearing a mushroom, as well as riding a llama or horse. This was a pretty old bug, and I'm really glad that they fixed it. A lot of people lost mobs that they tried naming, thinking that they were named, but they really weren't. And just recently, this was a problem on the ProtoTech server where we named a whole bunch of chickens that wouldn't count to the passive mob cap. But it turns out some of them weren't really named. They finally fixed a bug reported by one of the ProtoTech members, Smokey, where we noticed that they changed it so that when mobs would fall through the end portal, no platform would generate here, and they would just fall down into the void. If we go ahead and remove this platform, and then we head back over to the overworld, and let's say we were sitting by this portal, and that cow that was over there, let's say he accidentally went into this portal, he would have normally fell all the way down through the world, but now the platform generates here for him, so he doesn't immediately die. It's really cool that they actually fix this, because this allows us to make obsidian farms once again that are really fast, rather than having the player have to constantly walk from the sitting platform here to the exit end portal. We can just throw some entities through the portal. So I brought my alt account on to show you guys what it looks like when different things come through the portal. Go ahead and remove it. And if we just throw in one item, you can see the whole portal generates. So this is how it used to be back in the day. And I designed some really simple sitting farms to take advantage of this. We go ahead and summon in a cow. You can see it also regenerates. So pretty much any entity will allow it to regenerate. This is going to be a lot of fun to play around with during our Snapshot testing stream. I know the ProtoTech members are going to be really happy for this change. They fixed a bug to do with sometimes mobs stopping when attacking or following their target. And you would normally see this with a zombie and a villager. A lot of times the zombie would attack the villager once and then be like really slow to attack it any more times after that, because he'd be so close, he wouldn't be able so easily to path through the villager. They changed the sprout item. You can see now it sits directly in the center of the menu, and now when you put it into your little slot, it's also set in the center, and this way when you're holding it you can actually see it. If you've seen before, when you would actually switch to the sprout, your hand would just go invisible because you're holding something so small that it wouldn't show up itself, but also wouldn't show your hand because you're technically holding something, so it looked like you have no hands at all. Looks like the way they changed it just by recentering the sprout. And you can see what the offhand looks like when you have the offhand. They made a change to piglins, ones that are holding crossbows. So now they will not just take any gold item over their crossbow. So here we gave him a sword. He has a crossbow. And normally they would go ahead and equip the gold sword, but you can see he just stored it away and he keeps his crossbow. They also have it so that parrots will now imitate piglins, zoglins, as well as hoglins. They also fixed a bug to do with piglins not being able to ride different entities. So normally you could pick up mobs with like a boat, and here you can see, there you go, he hopped in. Before they were just hopping in and then immediately hopping back out again. This was causing some problems, like in my piglin farm where I was trying to push them out of portals using boats. They would hop into them and hop back out again. They kind of do this infinite loop. So that should now work a lot better. Oh well, accidentally got one of the advancements. Must be a lot of biomes in a small area. Blackstone as well as basalt now no longer prevents the generation of ancient debris or other nether ores. Now looking around here in the basalt deltas, I can't find any evidence that this is true, as you would expect to kind of see the ores popping out of not netherrack instead of popping through the basalt. I think the way they combated this problem is just by making ores spawn more frequently here. They now fix the problem that the planks were actually much harder than the stem blocks that they originate from. There was a problem that the game was crashing when trying to generate the nether biome superflat world with ruined portals enabled, and they fixed it. When creating a new world, now when you hit the tab button, it will move down the screen left to right, then downwards. Unlike before, this can make it so people can easily make new worlds very quickly like speedrunners by hitting tab and hitting enter at different points, rather than using their mouse. Chunks with a lot of redstone were being removed when updating from older versions to the new Snapshot. This was a pretty scary problem that we ran into when updating some of our old worlds just to test them. They went ahead and addressed this. They also fixed another bug to do with if you had 15 block states per subchunk, that was a limit during world upgrade. If you did this and upgraded your world, the entire chunk would be resetted. This is also a pretty nasty bug that our friend Red Command came across and got fixed. They also addressed the problem to do with withers not spawning inside of wither roses. The issue was that the reason they changed it so that mobs can no longer spawn wither roses is similar to why most mobs don't spawn inside of stuff that can start them on fire, like magma cubes. So the rule with magma cubes is that if the mob does not burn with fire, it should be able to spawn inside of a magma cube. And since withers are immune to wither roses, they should be able to spawn inside of wither roses. Now they did say that the bug is fixed in the bug report. It says resolved. But if you go over here and check out the wither skeleton farm, where it's just a bunch of wither roses, the only thing that should spawn here is wither skeletons. Now, the bug report wasn't marked worked as intended, meaning that they accept the way it was before. It actually says fix, meaning that wither skeletons should spawn on top of wither roses, but they are not. So hopefully they fix this bug in the next version. One of the Mojang developers actually came on during our stream where we were making a new type of wither skeleton farm. And he was talking about how it was a tough decision deciding if they should fix this or not. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. They also fixed it so that if a piglin gets an enchanted crossbow, then he will switch it out. Go ahead and enchant this one and he'll just throw it beside him. And you should be able to pick that up. Yep, he did. He switched it out. And I don't know if his other one dropped. He might just put it into storage. Of course, when they drop it, there's only like a small percentage that the item will actually drop. Similar to if you would kill them. Oddly enough, if you jump into this boat with this guy, he jumps on top of you. This is very strange. So I guess he's like technically riding on top of me for a little while. Then if I hop off, he doesn't continue on me. He stays on the boat. That is really bizarre. They also fixed a problem to do with chunk status and how information was being stored. They also fixed a bug that one of the ProtoTech members CheaterCode noticed, which is if you type in the exact same letters for a seed, it can actually produce different seeds, meaning it wouldn't be possible for people to play on the same seed if they use letters instead of numbers. And that has been fixed. A lot of weird changes made in this version. I don't know if some of these will stay. I'm really hoping they do more features added to the custom worlds. That should make it pretty fun, especially for people trying to go for more of a challenge. I'm excited to also play around with the new Redstone changes. I'd love to hear what you guys think about all these new changes. Make sure to join me over there on Twitch, link down below, for testing and building new machines using these changes with the viewers. I will see all you guys there, and thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to share this video with your favorite Minecrafter so they can learn about all the cool things coming out with the latest 1.16 version, as well as leave a like in the video. Bye-bye!